Have you ever walked into a building that just feels perfect? And then you've been in another one that's a total daily frustration? The reason for that difference, well, it's probably not in the blueprints. The real secret is in a hidden step that happens long before any design even gets started.
Seriously, think about it for a second. You know the feeling, right? A library where you instantly find a quiet nook. A house where the kitchen just flows perfectly. An office where somehow you actually feel focused and productive. Everything just clicks into place.
Now, let's flip that. Picture a huge, confusing airport where you can't find your gate, or a cramped, dark office that just drains your energy. That frustrating feeling, that isn't just bad luck. It's a failure. A failure in a critical and often totally invisible part of the process. So how do we avoid those frustrating buildings? How do we make sure we get more of the good ones? The answer, as you might guess, lies in this crucial pre-design phase, before the blueprint. And here is the absolute secret. It's not about sketching beautiful drawings, not at first. It's about becoming a detective. The real work begins with a deep investigative process called architectural programming. It's all about asking the right questions.
So let's break that down. What on earth is architectural programming? Well, the best way to think about it is this. It's like writing a building's unique DNA. It's the fundamental instruction manual for everything that building needs to be and do.
So here's the more formal definition. It's the process of figuring out, and this is key, writing down all the client's needs for a project. It's all about one powerful idea. Define the problem completely, nail it down, before you even start to think about solving it.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. This isn't just a quick meeting or a simple checklist. It's an in-depth investigation. The architect has to dig deep into the client's world to uncover every single requirement, from the big picture mission down to the smallest operational details.
And this is how that DNA actually gets written. It's a cycle. You set the big goals, you go out and collect a ton of data, facts, figures, interviews. You analyze all of it to uncover the real needs. And then you start to develop some broad concepts. But it doesn't stop there. You repeat, you refine, you dig deeper until that program is a perfect, rock-solid map of what's required.
Now, that process might sound a little complex, a little academic, but really we can boil it all down to three fundamental questions that every single great architectural program has to answer.
First up, who gets a say? It is never, ever just one person. You have to account for a whole ecosystem of stakeholders. Of course, you have the client, the one paying the bills. But you also have the lenders who are financing it, the government officials who enforce all the rules, and, so importantly, the people who will actually use the building every single day. Their input is gold.
The second giant question is, what does this project need to accomplish, and what are the rules of the game? This is where the big dreams have to meet the cold, hard facts.
So you're balancing two major forces here. On one side, you've got the program needs, the wish list. What kinds of spaces do we need? How should they connect? What happens if the company grows? But on the other side, you've got the unchangeable realities of the site, zoning laws, the local climate, the actual slope of the land, where the sewer lines run. A brilliant program finds the harmony between that dream and that reality.
And that brings us to our third and maybe most important question, what's the true cost of a building? The answer lies in this simple ratio right here, and honestly, it's a total game changer. Get ready for this.
Okay, look at this. For every $1 a client spends on design, they spend about $5 on construction. Makes sense, right? But here's the absolute kicker. They will spend $200 on operations and maintenance over that building's life. $200. That is why programming is so critical. A single smart choice made here in this $1 phase can literally save millions down the road in that massive $200 phase.
You know, thinking about that huge long-term cost forces modern programming to think even bigger. It's not just about how a building works today, it's about its impact on the future and its ability to actually last.
So now, two key concepts are becoming a mandatory part of a building's DNA. First is sustainable design. Think of that as efficiency, using less water, less energy. But then there's resilient design, and that's about strength, creating buildings that can adapt and survive future shocks like extreme weather or power outages. You absolutely need both.
And to hit these goals, architects rely on incredible frameworks like LEED, BREEAM, or the really ambitious Living Building Challenge. Think of these as toolkits that help set specific targets for energy, water, and well-being right from the very beginning. They get baked into the building's DNA.
So let's bring it all together. When it all comes down to it, the most important part of any great building is the part you can't even see.
At the end of the day, a building's success, how it feels, how it works, its cost over a lifetime, its impact on the world, all of that is determined by this invisible architecture. It is the physical expression of a brilliant program, the DNA that was written and perfected long before a single wall was ever drawn.
So the next time you walk into a space that just works, I want you to take a moment. Appreciate the beautiful design for sure, but also consider that invisible program humming just beneath the surface. All the thoughtful questions that were asked and answered to make your experience so seamless. What invisible decisions are shaping the buildings in your life?